somewhere between all the noise and the next notification. We stop hearing ourselves. Days blur into each other. We scroll, we reply, we chase. But in all that speed, we forget the small things, the ones that once made us feel alive. Maybe healing isn't about doing something new. Maybe it's about remembering what once made us whole. Today, let's return to 4 quiet hobbies, the kind that don't demand anything, but somehow give you everything. Creating with your hands. When life feels heavy, there's something sacred about building something small. Paint, right? Cook, plant, anything that asks your hands to move and your mind to soften. In creation, we stop judging ourselves. The world outside fades, and suddenly, you're not overthinking, you're just being. It doesn't matter if the colors don't match, if the bread doesn't rise, or if the words don't sound perfect. The act itself, of shaping something from nothing, is how the heart learns to breathe again. Some people pray with their words. Some pray with their hands. Walking. We underestimate it. This simple act of putting one foot in front of the other. Not for exercise. Not for steps on an app. Just to walk. Walk when your thoughts feel loud. Walk when nothing makes sense. Walk even when it feels pointless. Because after a while, the rhythm of your steps begins to quiet your mind. You notice the wind again. You notice your breath. And maybe for the first time in a long while, you notice yourself. Sometimes you don't need answers. You just need to move through the questions. Listening. The world talks too much. But healing begins when we start to listen again. To music that carries a piece of our past. To silence that sits beside us without needing to fix us. To our own voice, the one we keep ignoring. Put on that old song you loved years ago. Let play without guilt. Or write a few lines in a notebook before you sleep. Don't worry if they're messy. They're your story. And stories don't need to be tidy to be true. Listening is how we remember who we are. Beneath all the noise. Reading. Books are quiet friends that never leave. The right ones find us when we need them most. Pick up a book you loved as a child. A story that smelled of paper and comfort. Or a classic that makes you feel small. But in a good way. Sometimes a few lines can change your day. Sometimes a single page can soften your heart. Read slowly. Let the words linger. They'll remind you that peace is not far away. It's often hiding between sentences. When we read, we borrow someone else's calm until we find our own. For small things. Create. Walk. Listen. Read. Simple. Ordinary. But that's exactly what makes them powerful. Because healing rarely happens in grand moments. It happens in the soft ones, the ones we almost overlook. So tonight, instead of scrolling through the noise, pick one of these small things. Do it softly, do it imperfectly, but do it. And let your heart remember what peace feels like. Because sometimes the mind doesn't need fixing. It just needs gentle company.